In this video, I'm going to break down this trade that I took on EURGBP for plus 4R. When you finish this video, head over to the link in the description and join my free trading course. 13 videos there on 10 different topics. That's going to give you a lot of value on how to actually improve your trading and give you a new perspective of the market. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to break down a trade that I took on EURGBP, show you how I found this, why I took it, and how I actually managed this to profit. So this trade was a 4R winner and it was a kind of buy to sell movement. It was counter to the larger trend. First of all, we'll start by looking at the larger trend and I'll show you the kind of movements I'd taken on this one. So EURGBP on the very high time frames, I am looking for big shorts on this. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably will have seen that I've been looking for EURGBP to come through and fill daily imbalance towards around this level, around 0.78. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen yet. Personally, I don't think it will. I think we have a little bit more upside to make first. I think we can come and clear into this zone here, around 0.85. Then we may have a 600 to 700 pip run down on a very passive swing trade to run in the background. So that's definitely something I'm interested in taking, but that gives you the overall bias for this trade. Basically, I've taken shorts from this point here. I brought that all the way down. Very, very big profit on that one. Took profits, I believe at this point, 0.8333 I took it at, so just around there. Now, as we then see, the reason I took that was demand, but we did push through the demand and we broke below. So then what I was looking for, due to this imbalance above, was if a buy opportunity came about, to try and buy the market, to bring it up towards this area again, to fill some of that imbalance. So that was the basis for the trade, a simple buy to sell movement, just aiming to fill some of this imbalance before we continue a larger move down. So now let's have a look at the actual setup, how it formulated and how I executed upon it. Zooming in then to the 30-minute, now we obviously know we've got kind of equal highs here. We also have got deeper imbalance supply zones above, so we may very well push quite a lot higher towards some of these areas before selling off. But for this trade, being a counter trend trade, I just opted to go for a short-term move, kind of against the trend, but just to fill some of this open space before we rolled over further. So the target I used for this trade was actually this supply zone just here. If the market then forms some bullish confirmations, I would be happy to take the market up towards this point, which would then secure me a little trade. And as we see here, we had lower lows and lower highs, turning into higher highs and higher lows. First of all, by breaking this point, but for me that wasn't enough due to the supply that was also in the way. And then second of all, and most importantly, by pushing past these points here. So I did not execute on this first move. Now I could have, obviously, but it would have been a little bit risky to me. Because what I can see here is we have demand, push up, kind of a higher high, but very lightly, only with a wick, pull back down, retest demand, new demand, push up, break through the high. And this was where the trade really became nice to me because I'd seen here 2 bullish breaks of structure. So what this told me was the market was now actually shifting into a little bit of a bullish movement. And because we have very efficient pricing here, demand zone retested, now we were looking for this demand zone to be retested and make a push up towards this point. So my trade was actually executed on low time frames and it was a bit of an aggressive move because I did try to wait for confirmation, but the market was pretty messy. But I had a very strong inclination that we'd seen a lot of the bearish momentum die out. We were now flatting and we were actually shifting to the upside. So my entry was taken if we let the market play out. First of all, we saw this demand area here retested. Obviously, we can see it was lightly tapped there, but we got a full midpoint retest here. The market then pushed to the upside. What I wanted to see was a clear break of this high to then start buying in. And as we see, we got a very light break of this high, so not too clear. Only a very small wick, which could indicate that there's selling pressure here. But what this tells me is that the market is showing willingness to move higher. If this market was truly very bearish, we would have reacted from or below this point and rolled over. But by pushing through, even though we obviously saw we were faced with resistance here with selling pressure, this showed me that the market had willingness to move higher. The prices are attempting to go higher, and they very likely can, due to the fact, if we look previously, we see the momentum on the downside died out, and the momentum on the upside has started to pick up. So what I opted to do at this point was simply place an order on. I went with half my usual risk due to the aggressive nature of the trade. Had this been a solid body close, I would have gone with full risk. My order was placed on this 1 minute imbalanced demand zone. My stop loss was below this low here as well, just to make sure that if we do come through 4 mini tricky wicks, we won't get taken out of the trade. And then my target for this position was actually all the way into that demand zone there, or supply zone should I say. So the trade overall, if we zoom it out, was a 6.85R profit trade. We had large potential there to make 7R on this movement, but as you'll know from the title, I actually only closed at 4R, and you'll see why now. So the market did come down, retested demand. We had a small push below. I could have actually used a tighter stop, but I do prefer to be a bit more conservative with it. 6.85 versus 10R is fine for me if it means I'm going to win, 2 out of 3 trades instead of 1 out of 3. And then the push-up began, and pretty much straight away we got quite nice action towards the upside. Now I hadn't really moved break-even at this point because we hadn't broken structure yet. Started to go break-even around this point here, and then we'll see the market moved quite steadily towards the target area that we wanted it to. Now, after impulsing, you will now see we entered a phase of consolidation. I didn't close the trade straight away at this point, but I did realize, okay, we have supply here. This could potentially run as a hurdle. This breakthrough obviously gave me confidence that the target was going to be hit, but what actually happened was we came close to the end of the trading day. What that means for me is I like to get out of my positions. Obviously, New York volume's dying down. London volume's essentially entirely gone now, and we are focused on euro and pound. So really we need that London-New York volume to actually provide action on this movement. So when we came into the evening, I actually closed the trade up, and that was around a 4R profit. So I closed it around this point, maybe in this high, maybe a little bit later on in the evening, between 7 and 9 p.m. I got out the trade, took the profit, and that was me done for the day. So there you can see a very simple breakdown to a very simple trade. Now, in the end, the target was fulfilled, but we did come all the way back down to retest this area before pushing. So had I held, I probably would have been taken out of break even. And the way I see it is, if I trade out of my hours and I have to hold a trade like this through the night, it could very easily turn on me when I could just take 4R now, instead of losing all of that, hoping for another 2.5R or 2.85R in this example. Now you can see over here, this is where I called the trade, EURGBP play for New York session. We were looking for a push in, nice reaction, and a push up to that target. That's exactly what we got. And here you can see it executed. And here you can see the point where some of my members got into this trade with me. We have this one here with pretty much the same entry as me. We have another one here with a slightly higher entry, but still a nice little trade. And then this one here as well, also with a nice conservative entry, but locked in some profits on that movement. And then there's my actual move as well. Very simple, very systematic, and very easy to execute and manage. Now, one final piece of news I wanted to share with you all. I got access to my Forex Funds live account. So I passed the evaluation. I passed the first challenge, the evaluation, and now I have the live account. So this is $200,000 with my Forex Funds. So I'll keep you all updated with how this goes. But that's just a little bit of motivation and inspiration for you. If you are also tackling funding challenges, it's possible, you can do it. And I have good faith that you can if you put in the study and you manage your risk well and you execute high probability trades. So what you can actually see on my screen now is the live account in my possession. $200,000. It's actually $201,112 now. I had to close out one of my Euro USD trades in profit as a huge wick came in. So I took a small profit and then the rest of it got break even. But that's not bad at all. Nice little $1,112 for the day. As you can see here, it is indeed a live account. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found a lot of value, and I will see you in the next one.